Ohio Senator J.D. Vance talks a lot about. He was present at that rally. So, Senator, so great to have you on today. Tell us what you think about, first of all, tell us about the rally and also this new misinformation from the media about what was said regarding the automobile industry.
Yeah, well, good morning, guys. It was a great rally. We had a great time. Of course, the president was in town to rally for Bernie Moreno. So if you're in Ohio, please vote for Bernie on Tuesday. He is the conservative that I think can deliver results and also fight back against the swamp. And that's what we were doing, is really celebrating Bernie and his campaign. And now you have this ridiculous attack on Donald Trump coming out. Look, we were all there. We all heard exactly what he said. He was saying that if you allow the Chinese to dominate the EV industry, which is what Biden's policies are promoting, you're going to destroy the auto industry in this country. It's going to be a bloodbath for the auto industry. He's 100% correct about that. And again, I think it shows how low the media is willing to go to cover for Joe Biden. They know that they cannot win this election if it's about Joe Biden's record, the failed border policies, the inflation, and so forth. So they're just going to lie about him for the next 8 months, which is why it's so important that we have real journalists, why we have X.com, why we push back against this craziness. Because I think if the American people know the truth, they'll vote for Bernie Moreno, they'll vote for Donald Trump, and we'll have a great election in 2024.
No doubt. Speaking of that election in 2024, J.D., your name continues to be on the list as a possible vice presidential pick. What do you think about that? And what kind of pick? I mean, even maybe stepping aside, I know how you kind of have to answer that. But what kind of person should Donald Trump be looking for?
Look, I think Trump has great instincts on people, and obviously I'm honored to be considered. But I've never talked with the president about it. I think it's way premature for us to get into that. And I like being a senator, and I plan to keep on being a senator. But of course, if the president asked me, I would have to think seriously about it because I want him to win. I think it's the most important election of our lifetimes. You know, you ask what kind of person he needs to pick. I think that's ultimately, obviously, Donald Trump's call. But I think it's really important that you have somebody who actually believes in the agenda, that believes in bringing American manufacturing jobs back, that believes that you've got to actually deport some of the criminal migrants who've come into our country. You can't give them amnesty, because the biggest problem Trump had during his first term, guys, is you had a lot, and I hate to say it, of congressional Republicans who actually refused to support the agenda. They were stabbing me in the back in private, even as they said nice things in public. It's one of the reasons why Bernie Moreno, I think, is the right choice for Ohio in the U.S. Senate.
Senator, you're someone who I think is a leading voice on many of the policy issues when it comes to America First ideology or America First political priorities. And I'm curious where you are, although the bill is stalled in the Senate, I'm curious where you are on this bill to address TikTok. It seems to have divided many on the right. There are those who have said, look, we need to not extend our First Amendment rights to a foreign adversary like China. There are others who said this bill opens the door for the censorship of American tech companies or perhaps even media companies that run afoul, that it's a sort of a Trojan horse into government censorship. How did you see this TikTok bill?
Yeah, so this is complicated, but I'll try to be brief. I think the intent of the bill is good. I think it's good, actually, to try to prevent the CCP from having a spy app in our country. But I do worry about how overbroad it is, and I think that's what we have to work on in the United States Senate. You guys mentioned X. I've mentioned X. I think it's an important part of the free speech conversation in our country. But of course, Elon Musk, like me, have been accused of Russian influence because we don't agree with the Biden administration's Ukraine policy. So you don't want to create a bill, especially given how the Biden administration is so corrupt in using the Department of Justice. You don't want to create a bill that gives them a lot of additional power to go after people like Elon Musk. So I think the intent is good. We've got to narrow down the focus a little bit so it does what it means to do and doesn't attack free speech in our country. I think that's doable, by the way, but it just needs a little bit more work.
J.D., go ahead. I was just saying, J.D., what about just, instead of just focusing on TikTok, what about a bill that just says none of these social media apps can censor on behalf of the government, but also collect our data or our information and share them with the intel agencies?
Very, very good point. And I think this is one of the criticisms of the TikTok bill that's valid here. It's not that the bill is necessarily wrong in its intent, But we have to focus not just on TikTok, but we've also got Google and Facebook, which we know interfered in a big way in the 2020 election. So we have to take on the big tech problem writ large. The TikTok piece is one part of it, but there is a broader problem with the way these hyper left-wing technology companies control the debate and the narrative in our country. I think we need a legislative solution to that problem, but we've got to deal with the whole problem, and I think that focus point is really important.
Whatever that legislative solution is going to look like, it's going to be a knockdown, drag them out, fierce debate, because there's a lot of people invested in the control that those platforms have over the minds of Americans. Senator J.D. Vance, thank you for your time this morning on Fox and Friends Weekend. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, J.D. I feel better knowing he's in the Senate dealing with these issues. Thank you, J.D.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.